Hey everyone. So the one thing I realized that I really needed to do for you was introduce myself. My name is Jamie. I am from Ohio. See, I'm an Ohio girl. And I finally made my way back to Ohio. I'm originally from here, but I was in the Navy for 6 years. That's where I met my husband, Matt. We lived in San Diego, we lived in Virginia, and he just retired from the Navy in September of 2016. Don't know when you're going to watch this video. So we moved back to Ohio. Super exciting. It's great to be back in a place where you're from, where you know people, and where your family is. It's really important to me. So one thing about me that's super important is my love for the military and for our troops in our country. I'm very patriotic. So you will see lots of things in my group that have to do with the military. I like to support things that support our troops. So that's one thing about me. But the most important thing for you is that I have a love for LuLaRoe that runs so deep, so deep. It all began with this feeling. A friend of mine, Stephanie, who's also my sponsor, she's one of my very best friends, she bought a pair of leggings and she fell in love. And at that point, I had never even worn a pair of leggings, so I didn't know what was going on. She just told me she was doing this new thing, and she signed up, and I saw her changing. It was amazing. She really started to gain confidence. She started to bloom into the person that I always knew she was, but she didn't really have necessarily the confidence to see it. So anyway, she started kind of talking to me about LuLaRoe and telling me about the culture and the people and about the crazy story of the founders of LuLaRoe that just made it work. And it was really amazing. And I started to see this community of people that she was building around her. So when she got her first shipment, her initial shipment, I went over to her house and I helped her hang up the clothes, and she was so happy. It was amazing. And I got to actually put my hands on some of the clothes and like feel it, and I realized how special this really was for her and how that this was like a really amazing product. So I started getting interested. She asked me to do a pop-up for her, so I did kind of a dual pop-up. It was online after an in-person pop-up. So in the afternoon one day from like 1 to 3 or 2 to 4, I had a little in-person pop-up at her house and people shopped. And then that night, people could shop online for the rest of the night. And it was so cool because everybody was really getting into it. And the clothes were just amazing. Actually, this dress that I'm wearing was one of my very first LuLaRoe items, and it was from that party. And I started wearing this dress like at least once a week. I would wear it to work all the time. I realized how good it made me feel. People always complimented me. My confidence was perking up, and I hadn't felt that in a super long time. And it was just one of the most amazing things how a piece of clothing can make you feel so good. And it's kind of crazy because I'm not a small person. I've struggled with weight. I think that a lot of us have. And so I was putting on clothes that I actually felt good in. I didn't worry about all the squiggly bits. If you're in my group, you've probably heard me say squiggly bits quite a bit. I felt good and I felt confident. And so, after I helped her unpack the stuff, I was pretty much hooked. But the final piece for me was meeting the founder. I got to meet Deanne at Inspire training in Washington, D.C., because that's when we still lived in Virginia and I was working in D.C. And I went to Inspire training and I cried the entire day. Everything that was talked about that day really hit home for me. It just really touched me somewhere deep inside my heart. And the next thing I know, I had gotten really lucky and was able to score a seat in lunch with Deanne. So I went to this luncheon with Deanne, and she saw me. She saw me in this dress with a Cassie has a scarf and a pair of black leggings, and she was like, look, I love this. You're wearing 3 pieces and you look fabulous. You're a great advertisement. This is amazing. Keep doing this. You're doing great. And I wasn't even a consultant yet. I had barely just put in my paperwork about 2 weeks before. So it was very exciting. I felt noticed in it, excuse me, and in such a positive way that I felt incredible. So, I kept crying, like the entire lunch. All of us were trading stories and we were kind of talking, and I just couldn't stop. Everything was so inspiring. I was so happy. I finally found it. I found a place to put my passion. And Deanne called to me during this little time during the luncheon where she kind of calls on people to tell their stories. So she asked me to tell mine. And it was super hard for me because where my self-confidence lacks comes from a very hard place. And maybe I'll tell you about that some other time, but I don't want this video to be too long. So I cried through that whole thing too. And she gave me a huge hug and she's like, you are who we need in this business because you're relatable. People get it. There are a lot of people like you out there. And I met a bunch of ladies that day who actually thanked me for saying what I said. They're like, your story is my story. I know that story. And I'm so glad I'm not in this alone. So it was amazing. And I felt like I found the place that I really belonged. So that is why I fell in love with LuLaRoe. I found a place I was accepted. I could be empowered. And it was like a sisterhood. This culture is amazing. People are so incredible in this culture of LuLaRoe. They're generous, they're giving, they're caring. I mean, yes, you're going to find some consultants who are not in it for the same reasons that the rest of us are. But that's okay. Because for every one consultant that maybe you're not getting along with, there are 100 others that you would be like happy to be their best friend. And I have found a lot of friends in LuLaRoe, and I'm so happy for them. But anyway, that's a little bit about me. And that's a little bit about my love for LuLaRoe. And I am so glad I get to know you and I get to meet you. And I can't wait to help you feel great. Help you feel empowered and accepted and like you belong here, because you do. And thank you for being here and getting to know me as your consultant, because I love it. I love connecting with you guys, and you're just amazing. So I will talk to all of you very soon. Thanks a lot, and just keep feeling good about yourself. Bye.